We've all had times in our careers, at least for myself, when I've been really down and out. When I lost to Ronda, I mean, that was pretty heartbreaking for me. When I lost my first fight to get into the UFC, it was like really devastating. And you have those moments where you feel really down about yourself and you feel like the world's falling down around you. But I think what really makes someone a fighter is not necessarily what they do inside the cage, but how they pick up the pieces once everything has fallen apart. When your whole world is shattered and you lost when you thought you were going to win and you gave it 110% and you came up short, it's devastating. It's crushing. And I've been on that end, a few times, and I picked myself up. I put all the pieces back together and I got my butt back in there, and I'm back here fighting for the world title. So I think that's what makes someone a fighter. Winning doesn't make you a fighter. It's how you pick yourself up from your losses and continue and go back to winning again. So we'll see how Ronda deals with that. Some people say, oh, she won't come back the same ever again. Some people think that she's going to come back stronger. I don't really know. I am kind of curious to see what's going to happen with that and how it's all going to unfold. But I do sympathize with those emotions. I've been down and out before, like I said, but you just got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and suck it up and say, hey, it wasn't my day. I will come back stronger. I've never considered taking my own life. For me, especially religiously, it's just never an option for me. And I had a boyfriend who committed suicide early on in my life, and I promised I would never do that to the people that are around me. So no matter how down and out I get, taking my own life is not an option. But I understand those emotions of feeling like you've lost everything. And when she says like, oh, I was considering suicide, I don't necessarily think she meant like, oh, I'm going to go home and actually do it, but it just feels like you want to die. That's what it feels like. It feels like you've lost everything that meant everything, and you feel like you are dying. So it's kind of, maybe the way that she expressed it came off a little bit wrong. So I imagine she probably just meant more like, I feel like I'm dying. I feel like I want to die. I feel like I've lost everything. I've been to that point, but never like, oh, I want to kill myself. No, I've never thought that. I think that Ronda's handling the loss the way anyone would at her level. She had her whole career built off of being undefeated and having that persona about it, and this really changes everything for her. It changes the way that she's going to be marketed from now on out, and she's walking around without the belt. Holly's carrying it, and she, up until this point, has been the only female to carry the UFC belt. So I think it was a big thing for her and something hard for her to wrap her mind around, that she's not the world champion now, that someone took that from her, and was completely unexpected by, I'm sure, her as well as the rest of the world. I'll be the first to admit I thought that Ronda was going to win that fight. I thought Holly might get her a few times, but I thought the odds were in the favor that Ronda would get a takedown, and be able to capitalize there. But, Holly played an amazing game plan, and, she stuck her to it. My boyfriend Brian's been there since literally day one. The first day that I stepped my foot on the mat to learn mixed martial arts, he was the first person that I met and the first person that showed me, arm bars and triangles and chokes and things like that. So he's been a huge instrumental part of my career, and he's a phenomenal coach, and he's wonderful. He's a great support system, and it's nice to have someone who understands what you're going through when you're cutting the weight, and when you're in there, someone who's been there and walked in those same shoes, someone who can try to sympathize with you, if you have a partner who hasn't done it, but it's just a different kind of bond when you know exactly what that person's going through. I'm 29 years old and I'm still focused on myself. I don't see kids yet in the immediate future. I'm a little bit undecided as far as that goes. I don't feel like I'm in any kind of rush or that I really need to do that. So, I may have kids, I may not have kids. It's just something that's kind of a vague thought, like, it'll figure itself out when the time is needed. But right now it's my time, and I want to put 110% into myself and my future. And I'm not distracted with the ideas of marriage or kids right now.